Nish tried to rub her eyes, but found that she was prevented from doing so. At first, panic set in, and she quickly awoke, only to remember that she was still wearing the mask from the night before. It had been difficult to fall asleep, but in doing so she had gained just a bit more appreciation for what Gabriel and Erilo had to go through. Pista was gone. The little joker must have gotten up early to go and bother Gabriel. Nish was just grateful that her sundress was gone, as well, which meant she had remembered and felt the need to get dressed. Despite the discomfort of the mask, Nish found the bed to be excellent, and once she had fallen asleep, she had slept like a baby. Nish scooted to the edge and stretched, her wings reaching their full glory and relaxed. Part of her just wanted to go back to bed and spend the next hour or so waking up properly, but Nish was hungry, and she needed to find her daughter. If for no other reason than to stop Pista's childish antics from getting out of hand. It was a little more cumbersome for Nish to get dressed than her daughter. Her wings made it tricky to tie up and zip the article she wore. I really wish I could go back in time, meet the person who came up with this stupid tradition, and break their wings, Nish grumbled, until she was finally presentable. Entering the kitchen/living room, Nish was greeted not by her daughter driving the others up the wall, but by Erilo and Rizzotti talking at the table. At the same time, Pista sat quietly on Gabriel's lap as they watched a nature documentary on the television. Gabriel heard the door open and close, looked at Nish and said, "Sleeping Beauty is finally awake." "What?" Nish spluttered out, blindsided by the compliment. Gabriel shook her head before explaining, "It's a fairy tale. A princess was cursed to sleep for a long time. What I meant was that you were the last one up." "Oh, yes, I see," Nish replied. The comment had just been a turn of phrase that did not translate well into basic. "Morning, Mummy," Pista said, her eyes lighting up as seeing her mother up and about. Or maybe it was the drinks she was sipping on. "I worry I might have gotten her addicted," said Gabriel, before turning to the television screen. Nish also looked at what was able to hold Pista's attention for more than 5 seconds. The show was occupied by a fuzzy quadrupedal animal hanging from a tree. It was a placid-looking thing, dangling from the branches, moving at an impossibly slow pace, and half-heartedly nibbling on the leaf. It was then a human, covered in clothes, no masks or suits, stood before the animal. It did not flinch, scream or holler. The strange creature simply took a lazy glance at them and then got right back to doing pretty much nothing. The human started to speak in a language that Nish did not understand, though much like Gabriel, their voice was melodic. Nish did not need to understand, however, as subtitles in Galactic Basic were displayed on the bottom of the screen. "This remarkable creature is a sloth, and it has adapted to the struggle of life in a most unique way. Rather than getting stronger, faster, tougher, or smarter, this wondrous and adorable animal has gone down the path of doing as little as possible," the presenter said, showing their teeth and laughing. "It's Earth," Nish whispered. "Well done," Gabriel said. Erilo took nearly 20 minutes to realise that. "In my defence, I wasn't really paying attention," Erilo called out from the table. Of all the creatures Nish ever imagined living on Earth, this utterly defenceless creature was not one of them. "I don't understand," said Nish, watching the sloth doze in the sun, hanging from a branch and swaying ever so slightly in the breeze. "Yeah, that's why I turned subtitles on," explained Gabriel, pointing to the screen. "I meant, how can that thing even survive in your world?" she asked. Whenever she had thought of Earth, especially in her younger days, she had imagined vicious predators, powerful herbivores, and swift and deadly aerial hunters, not these dopey creatures. Gabriel looked at her dead in the eyes with an intensity that was a little unsettling. "Sloths are remarkably well adapted for their environments. They're well camouflaged due to the symbiotic algae covering their bodies," he explained. "They need very little food, they seldom need to return to the ground. There are predators in the Amazon, and the sloth not only survives but thrives," he added. "Earth is a world full of extremes, all extremes, not just the powerful and vicious," Gabriel finished, turning his attention back to the screen. "Honestly, the way some of you people talk, you think we're under assault by fire-breathing, poison-spewing superplagues 100 out of 100, Erilo stated, chewing on a snack, which Gabriel only just realised meant she had gotten it using his credentials to order it from the kitchens. If you were a more confrontational man, Gabriel might have said something about this violation of privacy. "Be nice," Rizzotti said, gently slapping the back of Erilo's hand. Pista burst and hid her face in Gabriel's chest. The documentary had switched to a bird of prey attempting to hunt the sloth. He watched this show before and knew that the sloth survived, although the sloth was probably long dead considering the episode was over 20 years old. "It's fine, see? Mr. Sloth made it," Gabriel said, pointing at the animal casually poking his head out from the leaves. Pista did not look back, but not because she was scared. Instead, she had found something else to interest her. Reaching into Gabriel's top at first, he thought she was attempting to jab his belly button again. Instead, Pista's hand clamped around a metal object, and she carefully removed it to find a locket attached to Gabriel's neck by a chain. Pista examined the object. It was silver, plain, and pretty heavy considering it was so small. She found a latch and tried her best to open it. Though her fingers were nimble, she lacked the nails so she would allow for quick and easy opening, and after a few minutes, Pista gave up. "What's in it?" she asked, still holding onto the locket. "Pictures," replied Gabriel. "Of what?" asked Pista. Gabriel hesitated for a moment, something Eola noted. "Of me, and my sister." "You have a sister?" Pista asked excitedly. "I want a sister," she trilled joyfully. Gabriel smiled weakly as Pista asked, "What's she called?" "Jareel. Her name's Jareel. We were named after angels," Gabriel explained after a brief pause. "What's an engel?" asked Pista, finally letting go of the locket. In response, Gabriel quickly tucked it back beneath his shirt. "Some humans believe in a being called God, and God has servants called angels. People made out of light," Gabriel explained, trying to keep his explanation as simple as possible, not just because he had little interest in the topic, but also because Pista was a kid. He doubted she was interested in the distinction between archangels and Sephirim. Wanting to change the topic, Gabriel decided to ask Pista, "What about you, Pista? Any family you want to tell me about?" Pista looked directly in Gabriel's eyes and brushed her antenna through his hair before saying, "Mummy says not to talk about the sperm donor." Risotti had to resist spraying her drink inside her mask while Eola nearly choked. Even Gabriel, not one for overreactions, leaned back and wondered if he had just heard what he had just heard. "Pista!" Nish called out. "You do," Pista replied, unsure what she had done wrong. Gabriel, Risotti and Eola were all staring at Nish and she shrunk under the gaze. Her antenna dropped and her wings were pressed hard against her back. "I take it there's a story there," said Eola, once she had gotten control of her spluttering. "Not really," replied Nish, with a nonchalantness that made Gabriel believe her. "Did he leave you?" asked Risotti, eager for some gossip. Nish did not reply. Was she embarrassed? Risotti wanted the story, but not if it made Nish too uncomfortable. Then she recalled what had happened during the interview, and Risotti changed her question. "What I mean was, did he end your romantic relationship?" "No. Travanda don't do monogamy like you lot. Well, some do, but I've never met any. My cousin told me that her friend's sister knows someone who's tried the whole partner for life thing," Nish replied. Her wings were gaining some of their former volume when she realised they were not criticising her parenting style. Though she could not fathom why they were so interested in this, it was a minor footnote in her life as far as Nish was concerned. Apart from the fact it gave her Pista, that was irreplaceable. "So why the turn of phrase?" asked Eola with a wave of her hand, trying to keep the question as diplomatic as she could. "Travanda men may not form a long-term romantic partnership with the woman, but they are supposed to help with the child-rearing, financial support, days out with his kids, turning up for school events, etc., Nish explained. "And I take he did the deed and then scarpered," stated Risotti. "Yep. Last time I get pulled in by full antenna and deep eye spots," Nish said. Even now, she occasionally wondered how she could have been so moronic. The signs were all there, after all. Personally, she blamed it on mating season hormones. Plus, she had been young and stupid. "Sorry," Gabriel said, both regretting what had happened, and that they had brought it up. "It's fine. We're better off without him," replied Nish. There was silence for a while as everyone avoided the other's gaze, apart from Pista, who regained her interest in the show. Mummy, look at that!" Pista squealed, as a manatee chomped vigorously on seagrass. It was undoubtedly a marvellous creature, and Nif found the desire to see Earth for herself building within her. Perhaps their next holiday should be more on the extreme side. "Lovely, but I'm hungry. I really need some breakfast," Nish said, "and to get this thing off my face." "Fair enough," Gabriel responded, and told them of a restaurant on the 20th floor. The three of them could visit it, while Gabriel and Eola went to the one that catered to Death Warders. Pista and Risotti were not pleased with being split up, though for different reasons, but Gabriel was adamant that this was the most efficient way and comforted them, as he still needed to get dressed, so they had time to prepare for the unbearable heartbreak. They should all use the decontamination room together, as it took about 10 minutes, and doing it in 2 goes was just going to be annoying.